Today I'm going to show you how to take a classic but a bit worn out chair, give it a modern twist, turn it into something fresh again. The first thing to do is check how sturdy the joints are. If there's any movement, you may need to add glue or put a nail in. Have a look under the chair for any brands or stamps. Might give you some clues as to where your chair came from. This one was built in Japan. Before treating the frame, remove the seat. This one is a drop-in, as is the case with most simple dining chairs. Just remove the 4 screws and keep them handy for putting the seat back on later. There are 3 stages of sanding. To get most of the stain or the paint off, start with a coarse abrasive paper or sanding block of about 80 grit. Then use a medium 120 grit paper to smooth the surface, and then a fine 240 grit to give it that silky smooth finish. This frame has a dark stain that's a bit dated and there are lots of scratches and dents. The solution is to sand it back to the original timber. It's going to need a lot of elbow grease, but I've got a hunch it's going to be worth it. When you're sanding, it's a good idea to work in sections so you can keep track of what you've already done. When you're at the medium grit stage, make sure you smooth along the edges to remove any snags and ensure the corners are nicely finished. The fine grit stage gets the last of the dirt and dust off and leaves you with this silky smooth finish that's going to be gorgeous when it's waxed. When you finish sanding, use a clean cloth and give it a good wipe over, just to get all the dust off. Now for the bit that's really going to bring this chair to life, the wax. I'm using a natural one that's going to highlight the timber grain and make it glow. Use a small piece of cloth to apply a thin layer in a circular motion, giving it a good rub to soften the wax. Again, work in sections so you know where you've been. And once you've applied the wax, leave it for about 10 to 15 minutes to dry, then buff it off with another clean cloth. Well, the timber's looking great, let's get to work on the seat. The leather on this seat's a bit worn, so I'm going to take it off and replace it with a lovely bright fabric. To remove all the staples, use a proper upholstery tool if you have one, but a screwdriver does the trick. Then finish off with some pliers or a multi-tool. Save the backing to put on later. Luckily, this foam is in great condition. Lay the fabric face down and position the seat so there's enough overhang to pull back for stapling, about 5 to 10 centimetres all round. Check the pattern is straight and that it sits where you want it to on the seat. Staple along the edge first, leaving about 3 centimetres unstapled at each corner. To staple the back edge, start at the middle, pulling the fabric up as tight as possible and stapling along the back edge and leaving about 3 centimetres from the corners. Then do the sides. Start stapling from the middle, pulling the fabric tight as you go. Staple the middle of the sides and work towards the front and then the back. And when you're doing the corners, start with the back ones for a little bit of practice. To give your corners a really nice professional finish, approach it a bit like wrapping a gift. Start by pulling the middle back tightly and stapling, then fold the corners in and staple again. Reattach the backing with staples, then screw the seat back onto the chair. And there you have it, a classic style chair with a refreshed modern twist.